When the river jumped its banks, it quickly inundated most of downtown and sent 12 feet of water gushing through an industrial park. Early estimates put the damage in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, when does Mr. Leung estimate we can be back online?
6 months, maybe 9.
All right, thank you. We'll get back to you.
Well, we knew we'd have to outsource some of this production sooner or later, even without a flood.
Dawn, if we don't find another supplier within a week, we are going to get killed in Q3.
I know. Barton's narrowed it down to 2 choices. He's ready to go.
Is he ready now?
He's ready now.
Do it.
Hey, Barton, the mailroom needs that proposal.
Oh, John, thanks.
Mr. Ewald, you know that flood in Quanjin?
Yes, and your point is?
Well, it pretty much destroyed CMI's production line.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to give Phil a call. They're going to need our help again.
Should I get him on the line right now?
I'm late for my 4 o'clock. We'll get him Monday.
Mr. Ewald, but Mr.
Hey! You guys take over. Here you go. I'll be right back.
This is great. Glad I was hooked up to this email notification. Finally, a chance to bid for CMI.
First of all, thanks, everybody. I really hate to disturb your weekend.
Well, good morning, Jerry.
But we have got a great opportunity here.
What's up?
Well, you probably heard about the flood in China. Well, because of it, CMI's factory in Quanjin had to be shut down, and they have asked us to bid on the lost capacity.
Who else is bidding?
Bascom. So we've got our work to do. And I need all your input by tomorrow noon so that I can consolidate it into the proposal.
No problem.
Jerry, I'd like you to handle the production plans. You need to call Barton at CMI for the passwords. The first one gets you past the firewall, and the second one gets you onto the server.
What, no retinal scans?
Jerry. Tim, you need to take a look at our inventory. What do we need? Oh, I did get a voicemail from Wendell Foods about an hour ago. Yeah. They're fine with us using them as a reference. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there is a hot link. So listen, I think if we can get this to CMI by Sunday.
All right, here's the plan. Look, the only way that they're going to go with us when Bascom is bigger and closer to their headquarters is if we can prove to them that we can do the job. Okay? So here's what I did. I added our new impeller station as a VR model so they can get a clearer sense of our capabilities. What do you think?
Great idea. Can we make it happen today?
2 hours, that's all I need.
Great.
It's done.
Heartwood Manufacturing appreciates the opportunity.
Heartwood Manufacturing appreciates the opportunity to present this proposal to you. We're sure that we can very effectively meet and exceed all criteria as specified in your RFP. Thank you again.
All right. They are gonna love this back at the office.
It's after 10:30 now. The email said it should be here. I don't care. Find it.
Is there a problem?
Well, the package from CMI hasn't arrived yet, and I don't want to call them till I've had a chance to look at the RFP.
I can find out where it is. Okay. Here we go. Says here it was signed for at 10:04 by somebody named Mullen or Miller or something. I'll run down to the mailroom and find it.
Wait. Is it really that easy?
Yeah, it's a Mac.
Well, wait a minute. If you can get all that stuff on here, can't you get to CMI's page where their RFP is?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, with a couple of wired guys like us, how can we lose?
We can't.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, Bascom's a solid company. I'm sure they'll come back with a good counter. But this outfit in Iowa that Barton found is not only ready to sign the contract guaranteeing us the yields we're after, but they've shown us exactly how our job will run at their facility.
Can they be ready to ship product by the end of the month? We're going to need that.
Yep.
Let's take advantage of it.
I will have them here tomorrow. Great.
Phil, it's Mike Ewald from Bascom.
I'll take it.
Phil, it's Mike Ewald. Listen, we were sorry to hear about the trouble at your plant, but we got your RFP this morning, and, you know, I was thinking maybe we should get together later in the week, and we... What? What? But, Phil, who the heck is Heartwood?
Yeah, you know, Bascom is the way the companies usually work. It's a well-efficient, organized company. People know their lines of authority. I'm sure it's very well run. But it's the old era. Now, Heartwood, they have their act together. That's a modern company. What they understand is true interaction.
The interaction among them as commercial enterprises is typical not even of the distant future, but of where we are already.
The world is moving away from the Bascoms and moving to the Heartwoods, where companies that find effective ways to use these new technologies to get their message across, to collaborate more effectively, are going to be the winners in the future.
The cost of not being involved is extremely high, extremely high. I mean, we saw it in the example of the film. It's going to be lost business.
That's the virtue of these new technologies. Hartwood understood the game. Bascom, they're dead.
Managing legacy systems in a company today is just too expensive. Every time you want something out of it, you have to write a special application. And now with just generic low-cost tools, we can work with that information, integrate it with other information, and solve that problem once and for all.
Intranets, look, are just a new way of allowing people in the company to access internal information of all sorts. It's just an extremely efficient, relatively low cost, and easy way of achieving what was somewhat more awkward and difficult in the past. But the net result is not simply a quantitative change, but a qualitative change.
Business today is performed by teams that aren't located in one place. Companies are spread out all over nations, all over the world. The Internet is beginning to allow companies to form virtual teams that work on a task together.
The new technologies are really going to dramatically change the way we do business. For the first time, we can do our complete work, show it to you, share it with you, and then interact.
I can't imagine a business that will not be affected by this. Frankly, I can't imagine a life that isn't going to be affected by this.
What's the Internet going to look like 10, 20 years from now? Well, at one level, that's easy. It's going to look very different than today.
What I expect to be happening in the Internet the next few years is that commerce is going to be real. People will transact business on the Internet. You'll find your customers there, and they'll be able to buy things from you online.
So all forms of commerce, of retail particularly, are going to be radically transformed.
Imagine having a central medical facility and the ability of someone out in a small remote area to send a video of the symptoms of the patient, of the problems.
Now when you add, say, online diagnostics to that, various electronic devices, if he could put a little collar on my finger and measure blood pressure and a bunch of other stuff, and maybe even blood chemistry, non-invasively, suddenly it's a whole new ballgame.
Remote education, remote learning is going to be a very, very important part of this new technology.
You can train your sales force, you can train your customers, your distributors, so on, worldwide through the Internet as a distribution medium. It's much more powerful than video because of the interactivity and the immediacy of it.
I think the business world is going to take to this very fast. They have a need for relatively low cost, high efficiency, perpetual learning for all of their workers. This is going to make that ever more accessible.
I can send messages to my colleagues and receive them when I want to receive them. I can read and see and do what I want when I want to read and see and do them. And I want the technology to go away and not be in my face, to be simple and elegant. That's my dream for the future.
I think we have to deal with, effectively, one way or other, the security issues, the privacy issues, and the intellectual property issues.
People need to feel safe when they're on the Internet. We need security that people can understand and believe in.
Now, it isn't that the security isn't a big issue. It's a big issue. I mean, it's a big problem. I don't mean to say it isn't. But the solution is not cutting oneself off from the world. The solution has to do with a whole bunch of other practices and procedures inside the company and how one manages one's relationships and one's networks. But it isn't about cutting oneself off.
Like all infrastructures, this one is going to cost a lot of money, measured in the billions of dollars. How are we going to pay for it? We'll have to be paid for, and in the end, it's always the consumer who will have to pay for it. Now, if we do it right, it will be invisible.
They're all the costs of learning in a very, very rapidly changing environment. The costs of not doing it are finding oneself increasingly isolated. It doesn't matter whether you're in a remote village in Botswana or high in the Himalayas. You're going to be able to communicate with a satellite and broadband access. That will change things fundamentally.
Over the next few years, the technologies that will be brought to bear and the bandwidth improvements that we're going to see are going to make virtual teams a basic part of business, just like the overhead projector is today.
So what I look forward to is a much greater ease of coordination of work. That's one of the things that the net makes possible.
Probably the thing that we most need to have for the Internet to succeed is stamina and patience.
So the main lesson I take from this is, first of all, it's only going to get better. And second of all, you've got to remain flexible. Whatever you do, you should be out there today experimenting, learning. It's essential for your business. But it's going to change, and so you have to be ready to change also.
Even those companies that don't know yet how they really want to use it, I think need to begin to experiment in a large-scale way.
You should be on the internet to learn about it, to be exploring, because in the future, this is going to be the way of doing business.
The internet is the solution. We've got to get on the internet, everything. And then we can go back to a time when we can work with anybody, anywhere, seamlessly, without the technology getting in the way. That's what I think is really exciting.
Should all companies be looking at internet technologies and using it? Well, let me put it this way. Should all companies be using the telephone?